After spending less than 44 hours on Greenlandic soil, Germany's Bundeswehr has reportedly withdrawn its reconnaissance team from the island, ending the mission abruptly and without fanfare. According to Bild, 15 German soldiers departed from Nuuk airport around noon on January 18 aboard an Icelandair Boeing 737 headed back to Europe. The team, which was commanded by Rear Admiral Stefan Pauli, left quietly without any formal statement or media briefing, as reported by Bild. The German soldiers had first arrived in Greenland on January 16, participating in a NATO reconnaissance mission that was organized at Denmark's invitation. However, on Sunday morning, Berlin unexpectedly issued immediate orders for the entire team to leave, Bild reported. Interestingly, just one day earlier on January 17, Berlin had suggested that the reconnaissance unit might actually extend its stay in Greenland for additional logistical work. By Sunday morning, the soldiers were already seen at Nuuk airport with their full equipment and gear packed, ready to board the next available flight home, according to Bild. Bild added that Berlin approved the team's withdrawal only hours after Admiral Stefan Pauli personally briefed military and government authorities about the situation on the ground. Admiral Pauli said that discussions with Denmark and allied partners had taken place and that reports outlining potential future cooperation had already been prepared. He explained that the group was awaiting further clearance and policy direction from Berlin before making any decision on the next phase of their deployment. Bild reported that the 15 deployed German soldiers were drawn from across the Army, Air Force, and Navy branches of the Bundeswehr. Their assigned mission was to assess environmental conditions and logistical feasibility for future NATO exercises and larger deployments in the Arctic zone. Other European NATO members also dispatched small reconnaissance detachments to Greenland, joining the same Arctic mission coordinated through Denmark. The deployment took place shortly after a failed diplomatic meeting in Washington on January 14th, where disagreements between the US and its allies remained unresolved.
There's not an instant threat from China and Russia, at least not a threat we can't accommodate. We didn't manage to change the American position. It's clear that the president has this wish of conquering over Greenland. We made it very, very clear that this is not in the interest of the kingdom. There's a government in Greenland with support from 3/4 of the Greenlandic population. The premier made it very, very clear yesterday that Greenland, for the time being and for foreseeable future, will remain within the kingdom of Denmark. And therefore, this is a common position that we want to work with our American friends and allies, but it must be a respectful cooperation and it must respect the red line.
The German withdrawal came a day after President Trump unveiled new tariffs targeting 8 of America's own NATO allies over the Greenland dispute. On January 17th, Trump announced that a 10% tariff would take effect on February 1st against 8 NATO allies directly linked to the Greenland issue. The president warned that the levy would increase to 25% in June and remain in place until a deal was reached for what he called the complete and total purchase of Greenland. Among the first nations to be hit by the February tariff wave are Germany, the United Kingdom, Finland, and Denmark, all key members of the NATO alliance. Trump defended the move by claiming that Greenland should belong to the United States for security reasons, citing alleged threats from both China and Russia. European allies swiftly rejected those arguments, insisting that NATO's collective defense structure is fully capable of protecting the Arctic without any unilateral ownership claims.